fucking pathetic. Guys, I am so sick and tired of coming out here every single post-game show telling you things that I shouldn't have to tell you. Now, I know you're going to be looking at my eyes. I am fighting a sinus infection tonight, but I'm still fighting through it. So if it seems like I'm a little bit down, I am fighting a cold. So what a hell of a day. What a hell of a day. LSU just has issues all across the field offensively. I get that they have injuries mounting. I get that they have personnel issues at wide receiver. Wide receivers can't get separation. A lot of people a week ago today was calling for Max Johnson to be benched for Garrett Nussmeier. And guys, I understand all of that. I understand all of it, but you cannot allow for that when the game is on the line. Guys, the game was on the line, and they're throwing a fade route to Devontae Lee, who I think Devontae Lee's a good player, but why are you going to him in that situation? No idea what the fuck they're doing offensively. No, I wish I had words. I legitimately wish I had words to come out here and tell you exactly what's going on. But guys, I have no clue what to tell you that will make you feel better. Again, everybody that was hitting on Max Johnson a week ago today, Garrett Nussmeier's not ready. I tried to tell you that Garrett was not ready. Game on the line, he throws an interception. Is the kid talented? Absolutely. Absolutely. He's talented. He's gonna be a good Tiger if he stays. I know you got Walker Howard coming in, but still. So let's do this before I get to all the comments, because I'm going to take a lot of your comments. Got to tell you about betonline.ag. Thank God I did not bet this LSU game. Something told me not to bet it. But if you're going to be placing all your bets, go to betonline.ag. Use your mobile device. Sign up today. Use the 50% welcome bonus. Let them know your good friend Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by using the AYS podcast tab. Steve Bain says, no matter what quarterback, offensive scheme still sucks. Guys, you majority of you obliterated me a week ago for telling you that. I'm not going to sit here and say, haha, I told you so. I'm not going to do that. But guys, again, the offensive scheme for LSU fucking sucks. They're running to the short side of the field. Arkansas had religiously all night long was blitzing to the opposite side of where the running back was lined up. So if the running back was lined up left, they were going to blitz this way. They were going to try to stop the run and stop Ty Davis-Price. That was their goal. That was their game plan. On third down, a team that only blitzed 6% of the time all season long. And you know what else? You know what else pisses me off? Did y'all hear during the announcing Tom Luke or whoever, Tom Hart or whatever his name was, said that Jake Peets left the field during practice this week? That came to them from Jake Peets. Hey, the quarterbacks aren't good, so I left practice. He told the announcers that in their meetings. And you want me to sit here and defend that son of a bitch? Kevin says that Peets needs to go. Hats off to Durante Jones, by the way. Hats off to Durante Jones. Hats off to all of the players who are playing their asses off. Your defense is good enough to win you football games. Your offense has shown all season long that they're incompetent. Joe Brady trusts DJ Mangus. Well, then you should name DJ Mangus as your offensive coordinator. And then Tom Hart said that Jake Peets is complaining to him that, well, I don't have all the play calling duties. Shut up. You're a first-time play caller in the SEC. You've never been an OC before. Grow the fuck up. Stefan says, I'm having a hard time not believing Jake Peets calls plays with a blindfold on. Dude is absolutely brutal. Well, guys, I'm going to sit here and tell you, Garrett Nussmeier did not play a good game. Garrett Nussmeier did not play a good game. I forgot to say this before the start because I was so pissed off. Everybody do me a favor by hitting the like and share. Hit that like and share. All you AYS regulars, do me a favor. Tell everybody, share to your Facebook groups, share to your social media pages. We'll absolutely appreciate it. So everybody hit the like and share. I should have said that off the start. Bill says defense was awesome, and aside from TDP, offense was bad. Yeah, they've been bad. Guys, they've been bad since Florida. The reason that we were okay with the offense because Ty Davis-Price went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Jeffrey says 179 passing yards and 2 picks, and Max was the problem, question mark. I'm not going to harp on that. You know, I took a beating last week, and I'm not going to harp on that. He can have the big arm. He can have a lot of more skill aspects, but when it comes down to the mental side of the game, you saw what happens when the game is too fast for you. He made some really good plays. The touchdown to Jack Besh, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But guys, we saw him at length tonight, and he still is not hitting above 60% of his passes. Now, that has something to do with the scheme. Actually, it's got a lot to do with the scheme. It's got the same problem that Max Johnson has with the offensive scheme is the same problem that Garrett Nussmeier had tonight. Two highly talented quarterbacks that has issues with this offensive scheme. Guys missing routes. Garrett Nussmeier running off the field, yelling at Jeray Jenkins for running the wrong route. He runs a hitch. He was supposed to run a slant. Disorganized. Completely disorganized. One of our great sponsors at AYS, Richie Roche from Roche's Lawn and Landscape, 225-937-7220 says, well, can we keep Durante Jones? This dude is coaching lights out. Amazing what happens when you actually get a coach the way you want without interference. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Barrett says, can we forfeit the rest of the season so I can sleep on the weekend? Guys, you can't do that. I know that, Country Granger, I know that you're joking, but no. You're gonna have to go out there and you're gonna have to play the rest of the games. You got ULM next week, and then you got Texas A&M, who's also incompetent on offense. By the way, hell no to Jimbo. Hell no to Jimbo. Kenny Russell said should have never benched Max. That's the incompetence of the staff. Max wouldn't have put the ball in a bad spot. I'm not at this, guys. At this point, I'm not going to point the finger at Garrett. Just like last week, I'm not going to point the finger at Max. I'm not going to point the finger at Garrett. But he can't make those throws. He can't make those throws. He made a huge throw to big play Malik Neighbors there at the end to get you first. Well, it wasn't first and goal, but 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. And the next play, he throws what I guess he thinks is a fade route to Devontae Lee. Everybody that's going to be blaming Devontae Lee and Trey Palmer for this game, you better stop. You better stop. And for everybody that's going to beat up Max Johnson and Garrett Nussmeier, guys, again, stop it. There's not a lot of things in this world that I know relatively well. One thing I fucking know is offensive play calling. Been in offense my entire life. You don't fucking run the ball when you know that they're going to be sending blitzes to the strong side and the opposite side of where your running backs lined up. Guys, they did that all night long. All night long. And we're supposed to sit here and say that, oh, well, this is on the players. Yeah, you know what? You know why Cardell Thomas got blown up on that second to last low blitz? Two guys are one for a block that he has no business trying to go after. By the way, Cardell Thomas sighting tonight. Thought he did okay. Nookie says, hit the like button like Pete's calling the Wildcat. That's another thing. I got in an argument on Twitter. I'm not sure you saw it during the game. Guys, LSU running the ball on 3rd and 7 3 times not to get the first down. Then you have to punt, try to kick a 56-yard field goal, 55-yard field goal, and you miss it into the wind. Now, maybe there's something up with Cade York. I really don't know of why Ed's not running him out there. But Garrett Nussmeier hits 3 passes on the drive, and then you take him out to run a wildcat. I think that this the AYS chat, the Rudy Crew, it's a completely different sentiment from a week ago. Everybody's saying max. Well, everybody, Anyway, Elwin says Nuss is not the answer. All this is on Pete's. I can't wait to watch last week's postgame show. Justin Jones says, I hate Coach O right now. How fucking much he doesn't care. How happy is he? He does seem pretty happy. Guys, he's playing not to lose. Now, if the problem is, so here, and listen, I don't know what Ed Orgeron's saying right now. I had no idea what Ed Orgeron's saying in his postgame press conference because we're live right now, but I guarantee you it's going to be something like this. Well, we knew that Garrett had some issues in practice with throwing interceptions, yada, 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 yada. Guys, the last time that we saw Garrett Nussmeier in live action, he threw 3 interceptions in a spring game. What did you think was going to be different? And it's not completely on him. Ed Orgeron listens way too much to the fan base. Seriously, he listens way too much to the fan base. That's his downfall. Fan base calling for Garrett Nussmeier, shut the hell. Don't buy into that. They're running counter zone when you got guys like me and T-Bob saying you should be running counter. It's your most effective run. And then they say Jack Marucci, a doctor, Jack Marucci is coming up with the play calls. Why the fuck is a doctor coming up with offensive schemes and offensive play calls? Well, he showed us the analytics. Are you not watching film? Because I can see that right now. Richie Roche says Pete's kept running the same stupid plays over and over and over again, and look, it helped them. They got it helped them with Ty Davis Price. They started getting the ball moving, and then they do something stupid. Every time that LSU started getting the ball rolling, they would do something stupid once they passed the 50. Nookie says, good call. Durante is looking really good. Yeah, he's looking good without the handcuffs on him. Guys, I've been telling you for 7, 8, 9 weeks that Durante Jones, it seems as if, and then now we're starting for it to get confirmed that he had handcuffs on him all season until last week. For anybody who tells me, and I've gotten some sourcing on this, but anyone who tells me that Ed Orgeron was not telling Durante Jones not to run his defense, you either number 1, naive, number 2, stupid, or number 3, you don't know what you're talking about, because I would put 99.9% of the fact that everything Durante Jones was running before last week against Alabama was not on his own volition. He was being told what to do. You can't convince me otherwise. You can tell me that, I spoke with Coach O, or, I did this, or, I did that. It doesn't matter, because what happens on the field is the only thing that matters. This man is mixing up 4 down linemen, 3 down linemen. Now, look, the only thing that I'm going to knock this LSU defense on, look, they gave up 1 bust coverage for the touchdown. You got to do better when you get home. You got to tackle the quarterback. KJ Jefferson's really tough to bring down, but you got to bring him down. Jay Ward missed a sack. Jaquelin Roy missed a sack. A lot of guys missed sacks tonight, and that completely changes the game if you're able to bring him down. But I'm not going to harp on the defense when you hold a team, let's call it what it is, 13 points, or especially under 20 points in today's day and age. Chili says, Blake, that has nothing to do with it. That play calling is trash. Well, if it's trash let me say this. For everybody that will listen, if it's trash for Garrett Nussmeier tonight, it was trash for Max Johnson all season. Lewis says the season is lost. Kenny says, I doubt we get bowl eligible now. We needed that game. Yeah, I mean, you got to win the next two. You got to win the next two. Can you beat ULM and can you beat A&M? I don't know. And look, there's teams that get in the in bowl games 5 and 7 with so many bowls opening up. We've seen that over the last couple of years, not last year, but we've seen that happen. Teams getting in the bowls 5 and 7, but I think LSU is going to want to call it. And quite honestly, if you're Scott Woodward, it's probably the best thing that happened tonight. And another best thing that happened tonight too was Lincoln Riley losing to Big Head Dave Aranda. If y'all saw that tweet and that post on Facebook, Dave Aranda called a great game today, guys. He put Lincoln Riley on skates. It looks like he was looks like old Lincoln was a little distracted. Now I told you Tuesday on this show. I told you. No, was it Tuesday or Monday? Because we didn't do Tuesday, but I told you Monday. Oklahoma has three their next 3 games and now next 2 because they play Baylor today. Teams beating ranked opponents or 3 straight ranked opponents is not easy. They fell tonight or today. Mark says on YouTube, were we in field goal range when we punted at the end? Yeah, I mean, I thought so. I mean, if you got a guy making kicks at 60 yards in pregame, hell yeah. Guys, I'm fighting through a pretty bad sinus infection. The only bad thing about having small children is when they go to daycare and they get sick a lot. All you parents will know what I'm talking about. Joe on Facebook says, Blake, talk to me. That 4th and inches was a fumble. What did you see? I didn't see a fumble, Joe. I know that you'd asked on Twitter, but I didn't see a fumble. I saw him reach over. We'll see. Oh, I mean, when I say we'll see, I'll go back and look at it, but I didn't think it was a fumble. I think they'd blown the whistle for progress. Bryce says, this has to be the dumbest coaching staff in LSU history. No, Carly Holman was pretty bad. Jared DiNardo had some pretty bad staffs too. My boy Tim Graves says, take another shot. I will. Trying to get this sinus infection out of me. David says, you can't convince me that we were trying to win. I'm not going to come out and say Orgeron was trying to lose, but he wasn't being aggressive enough in trying to win. Now we know why. Guys, nothing's changed with Garrett when it comes to turning the football over. You can blame all you want on the receivers, the running backs, the offensive line, all you want, but not shit changes. The simple fact that they're running the same fucking plays for Garrett, guys, they're running the same plays for Garrett Nussmeier that they ran for Max Johnson, right? Like the same plays. They're rolling Garrett out left. They're rolling Garrett out right. Now, I like him rolling out right, but my God. You got first and goal, and you're running a fade route when you're running the ball down their throat. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to some Facebook groups. Share to, if you're on YouTube, share to your Twitter. Share to your Facebook as well. We greatly appreciate it. KJ says, can't wait for baseball season now. Basketball going to be good too. Yeah, basketball they were struggling early with Texas State, but then they poured it on. Looked really good. Ron Whitney on Facebook says, you're on bullseye or you're on point. Josh Molly says, Jake got to be the worst offensive play caller ever. Well, guys, LSU is just not a place where you can come and learn on the job. It's just not. It's not a place that you can come and learn on the job. Kenny says, with a gunslinger mentality, you have to have good moments and will also have bad moments. Well, the bad moments came at the very worst of times. The very worst of times. And, You know, it's crazy because Max looked a little bit loose running the football tonight, did he not? I mean, on the 2 drives they gave him. Blaine brings up an interesting point. I thought about this too. He says, "Where was Mashburn?" I don't know. I guess he was hurt because he didn't come back in the second half. Fig Fever on YouTube says they are so predictable on first down. Yep, run, counter run. First 7 plays on first down was counter run. Then when Garrett Nussmeier came in, they threw the bomb. Adam Keene says, y'all wanted the damn Nuss bus. Y'all got him. Well, they did get him. Abram says, do you see any other run plays in the playbook? No. The only other thing that they did innovative, they ran inside zone, they ran counter zone, and then they ran the fake or the reverse to Trey Palmer that lost 2 yards. Y'all remember the end around to Trey Palmer. That's all that they have. I mean, there's nothing innovative about this offense. They're not, the first play of the game, Arkansas comes out and runs a double pass. Arkansas marches down the field. LSU settles in. Their defense settles in. They kick the field goal. But LSU, with walk-on and scholarship players tonight, had dressed 69 players. They started off with 123. So, there's nothing I'm going to say about this defense. There's nothing. Should you tackle the quarterback when you get into a sack? Sure, but whatever. Side Tate says his offensive scheme is worse than at any point during the Les era, and that says a lot. Well, I'm not going to say it's worse, but at least you knew what you were getting with Les. 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. Hell, he was going to run toss dive, and you weren't. And majority of the time, there's not a shit fucking thing you could do about it. When a fucking thing you could do about it. They imposed their will. At least Les had an identity. All this is Les had an identity. And Les's team is physical. All the practices are so long. And it's easy for my big ass to say when I'm not out there going through one of their practices. But their teams were physical. Teams were physical and ready to go. Nobody said shit all through 2011 about the practices being long. Until they lost in the national championship game. Tony Williams says everyone is yelling to bench Max, and those fans have no clue about football. These players are lost because the coaches are lost. Yeah, missing routes. A senior and Jeray Jenkins are missing routes. Trey Palmer missed a route. But it's really confusing because Trey Palmer, if you remember that 3rd down where Garrett Nussmeier's yelling at Trey Palmer runs a slant. I guess he thought he was running a quick hitch, but then you had Jeray Jenkins on the outside running a slant right behind him. So who's in the wrong there? I will say that the 2 receivers were right, and the quarterback was wrong when you got the 2 wide receivers on the outside running the same play. It's just disorganized, man. Coaching matters. Coaching will always matter because the facts are. We talked about Dave Aranda and Baylor in Oklahoma earlier. Oklahoma has better talent than Baylor. Coaching is what won them the game with Ron Roberts and Jeff Grimes and Dave Aranda and all those guys. Dustin Jenkins on Facebook says this freaking coaching staff acts like it's against the law to run a play action. It was not fucking called once night. Yeah, they ran some play actions. They ran some bootlegs. They ran, counter reads and the bootleg off of the today's bootleg off of the read. Remember the Jack Besh catches in the flat a couple of times. They ran it, but it's the only play action play that they run. They don't do anything else out of it. There's not a lot else that they do from it. Aaron Adams says, I'm completely numb to it all. Don't care anymore. We are cleaning house next year, thank God. Yeah, and I feel like that's what a lot of people are thinking. Brett Krill sends us some stars via Facebook, guys. We appreciate it every time you guys hit the like button and the share. Every time you guys send super chats and stars on Facebook. We greatly appreciate it. We greatly appreciate it. Lamar Williams says, big pressure says, can we stop the bleeding? No. Lewis says, bad internet connection. I think that's on guys, I have full internet connection. I have full internet connection. Is the feed still lagging? Let me know in the chat. Is the feed still lagging? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. If the feed is still lagging. Let me see. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Is the feed still lagging? Because it says on my side that it's not lagging. Mike McCoy says yes. Everybody, so I think for people that are having laggy feed, okay. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry that it's lagging, guys. There's not a lot else I can really do about that. Not a lot else I can do about it. Let me see. Maybe that will help it. See, on my side, it says it's not laggy, though. That's the only problem. Let's see. Tyler Mann says, Blake, do you want Dave Aranda or Lincoln Riley? I'd probably take Lincoln Riley. And I know, today's game makes it look something different. Also, Lincoln Riley. I still think that LSU needs – and look, I'm not mad at Dave at all. Like, I'm not mad at Dave. If he were the next head coach at LSU, I wouldn't be mad at it at all. Not one bit. William on YouTube says, when you called Blake, the D played lights out. Props to the players who played their hearts out. Yeah, they played their hearts out big time. Big time. Elwin says Orgeron shouldn't have run the Wildcat. Well, that's on Pete's. But I think that Orgeron should have told him not to run it at that point. Everything goes through your head coach. He can tell a coach not to run something. Like, I hope that you guys know that. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. We really appreciate it. Even though I don't know if the if the feed is laggy or not. Alex Ezel says slant was wide open on the last play. It was. Sure was. KJ says Cordell Thomas is slow, and all I saw him do was pull his damn pants up. He did start off okay. Nookie says I missed the toss dive. Les Miles toss dive. At least you knew what was coming. Marvin Mackey preaches here. Says not scoring in the red zone hurts us again. Hell yeah, it hurts you. But I really expect for you to get a coach that's going to have his own identity too. Marcus Como says 4th and 3 with 6 minutes left, and you go for it with a struggling offense. Well, didn't they get it though? Which play are you talking about? Joe says Sark getting paid a lot of cheddar to lose to Kansas. That's true. Shit, that's really true. It's very, very, very true. And they didn't just get beat, too. They were getting clapped at half. At the half. Chris Williams says, do you think with the new era that's coming, there's a complete rebuild? No, because, guys, you're 6 points away from beating Alabama, right? Like, you're 6 points away from beating Bama. So I'm not going to no. I don't think it's a complete rebuild. Now, there's places that you're going to have to rebuild. Sure, Absolutely. Howard sends us some stars via Facebook. Thank you. I really appreciate it. James Washington says, and Coach O really said, fuck it, run the Wildcat. Yeah. Yeah. See, I got a lot of people say it's not. Now I have a lot of people saying it is, so I'm not really sure, guys, if it's lagging or not. Apps is watched on YouTube and Facebook. They're both bad. I'm not sure. Seeing that I have full service, that's the only bad thing. That's the only bad thing. So we're just going to power through it. And I'm sorry for that. Jared says turnovers. Yeah, man. I mean, the turnovers suck. The turnovers absolutely suck. And I mean, look, the first interception by that Garrett Musselmeyer threw, that's a really good play by the DB. It's not a lot you could do there. I mean, other than not throwing it, but that ball, situation, Brian Thomas. If you remember, Brian Thomas had the fade route, and I know that he had to make an adjustment on it. And I know a lot of people are going to talk about, was it on the receiver or is it on the quarterback? Well, you got really a 50-50 shot there, and it looks like Garrett's just not, I don't know. And this isn't a shot at Devontae Lee either, but you're throwing it to Devontae Lee, on the second one. Lewis says, why no, not Jimbo? Because they just got beat by Ole Miss. You want to and guys, for Jimbo not have a 4-loss season, he's going to have to go through LSU, which could happen, and they probably will beat LSU. But I mean, Jesus. Justin Lagrange says, hashtag never Lane Kiffin. Well, shit, I'd take Lane Kiffin over Jimbo Fisher. Chuck says on YouTube, Blake, take a warm cup of bourbon with lemon and peppermint and honey. All right, I'm going to do that because I'm really struggling with a sinus infection. Jason bringing some good news to us, some good thoughts. He said, the monster, Patrick Queen 2.0, he plays pissed off. Yeah, that big stack on fourth down. Micah Baskerville played big tonight. Micah Baskerville played huge tonight. Robert says, at Blake, what are you drinking tonight? Oh, was it High West? High West. It's really good, man. I like some High West. I'm not drinking a lot of it. I don't think those offensive plays call off Wildcat. Yeah, but when he sees Ty Davis Price at quarterback, lined up at quarterback, he can call that off. He can call a timeout. Shame on him for not knowing. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Pooh Bear says the only thing that makes me feel better is that Florida struggled with Samford and the Auburn Falcons blew a 28-3 lead. Yeah, they did. To Mississippi State. And what's crazy is you fucking beat Mississippi State. You're a score away from beating Auburn. Here's why I don't think the LSU is a rebuild. Because simply, you're a score away from beating Auburn. You beat Mississippi State. You're a score away from beating Alabama. You're a score away from beating Arkansas. Better play calling. You're a couple scores away from beating UCLA. You should have never lost that game. I mean, guys, I'm really trying to think of a game that you should have, like, that you just weren't good enough to lose. Like, what game can you sit back and say, hey, you know what, LSU just didn't have enough talent there? Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, but it's not like you're getting completely blown out. Lonnie Young sends us some stars via Facebook. Appreciate that. Brandon Felton says we need Lincoln Riley. I don't disagree. Hell, we need somebody. Sure as hell we need somebody. Not at Orgeron. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. Kenny says Lady Tiger's in the PMAC tomorrow. That is true. That is true. Brandon Reese says, hashtag Ask Blake, how do you think Nuss or Howard would look in Lincoln Riley's system? Fantastic. I think they look really good. Hell, I think Max would look good. Guys, you're taking a first-time play caller. Guys never called plays, and we're acting like, and this team has scored points before, but they were throwing it to guys like Keishawn Boutte. That's the problem. That's been the problem. But I know a lot of people are going to be wanting to, anoint Walker Howard as soon as he walks in. Yeah, guys, I don't know what to tell you on this connection. Nookie says Matt Campbell's suddenly getting pushed by the 3 to 6 p.m. guy. Of course he is. Of course he is. And I really don't know this whole thing with Matt Campbell. I mean, that same 3 to 6 p.m. guy was talking about how William Tate the Fourth was making you I don't know. Was making sorry. I kind of lost my train of thought. Oh, was William Tate the Fourth was trying to make Woodward hire Mel Tucker. All right, I'm taking a couple of these off of the see if this makes the lag any better. Pooh Bear says Wake Forest completely completes my parlay. I like it. I like it a lot. Congratulations. Congratulations. Michael Lom on YouTube says Lincoln Riley, keep Durante Jones at DC. Number 2, Dave Aranda. Number 3, Lane Kiffin. Not a bad lineup. Not a bad lineup. But Wade says, give me Brian Kelly. Let him win a natty. Oof. I don't know how that would yeah, Nookie brings up a good point. He says Kentucky stomped us. That's good. That's a good point. So Kentucky's the only team. And what's crazy about Kentucky beating the shit out of us is that's to Mississippi State, and you beat Mississippi State earlier in the year. Now, Mississippi State's getting better, and I understand it. But, yeah, you're right. Y'all right. Kentucky did push LSU shit in. That's for sure. Elwin says Ole Miss. No, not Ole Miss, because you controlled that game in the first half. In the second half, that's when they started blowing it open. No, I mean even if I gave you Ole Miss, what are you 8-2? Like what are you 8-2 at this point? 7-3, guys. I take 7-3 from this team with a chance to beat A&M to go to 9-3. Shit, Orgeron's 9-3. He's not fired. But it's not my point, though, is you're not large ways away from being a competitive team. Shit, it could take a year and you're a competitive team. With guys like Elias Riggs, Keishawn Boutte, those kinds of guys coming back. Rick says, I think the lag helped once I took that off of Twitter. So do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Looks like it helped it. That's for damn sure. Looks like it helped it. Yeah, somebody just sent me a text saying that Orgeron said completely what I said earlier about, well, I thought, Garrett struggles with throwing interceptions in practice. But why in the hell do you have him in? Shannon Williams says, I'm heading back tomorrow to see the Lady Tigers. I like it. Chris Williams says, do you think Arch Manning commits? No. Not to LSU? Hell no. Hell no. He might commit to Georgia. He sure as shit ain't committing to LSU. Unless somebody like Lincoln Riley comes in and can woo him. Brian Thompson says the best offensive player, hands down, is Jack Best. No, I'm going to give that to TDP. I don't think you take away what TDP's doing right now, and you're not scoring points. All right, we'll go a little bit longer because I'm struggling. Rick says, hashtag ask Blake, help us feel better. What are your NFL picks tomorrow? I'll have to tweet them out tomorrow. I hadn't really looked at them. Guys, since Friday, I felt like shit. I woke up Friday feeling like shit. You can't tell. It looks like I'm high. I'm not high, man. I'm just not feeling good. It's the only bad thing about sending kids to daycare, man. They always come home sick, at least once a week. And it's tough because my son, Ben, he wants me to hold him when he's sick. And then Zachary Ross says, hey, been seeing stuff like people know who is going to get hired. Is there any word or still have no idea? There's no real idea of who's going to be hired. No real idea. Brandon Reese says, I wouldn't mind Aranda as long as he can bring a permanent OC. Well, nobody's going to be permanent. If he succeeds, then his OC is not going to be here. Just like the whole Joe Brady thing. But I have much more confidence in Dave hiring people than I do Ed. All right, guys, I'm gonna get like 4 or 5 more, and then I'm gonna call it. Chuck says, what would the results of those games be if Orgeron let us run those D? Shit, who knows? Chris Williams says, Blake, go get some sleep, bud. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Pooh Bear says, no pun intended, but go get you a hottie toddy. That's true. And Nookie says, TDB tried to put them on back at the end of regulation. He did, and they should have kept feeding him. All right, 2 more. Nookie says, Blake got the Rona again. Shit. Maybe. I hadn't tested for it yet. I hadn't tested for it yet. And Joe says, love your shows, brother, but go to bed and feel better. All right. Well, then we'll see y'all guys again tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. Maybe I'll do a show tomorrow if I feel any better, but I do feel like shit right now. But we'll see you guys soon. Y'all have a good night.